The 3-2 Vikings will come out of their bye and entertain the reigning, defending, yet reeling Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, losers of 2 straight after a 4-0 start. Do the math. Now sitting at 4-2. And we're going to lead with the Vikings angle here because there's so much going on, and a lot of it, honestly, at this moment right now, infuriates me. I think what's happening right now in Minnesota is gamesmanship for the sake of gamesmanship, and I think it's stupid, and I think that Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell, who I have a ton of respect for, Coach of the Year last year, we won money on it. It was awesome. We were out for dinner in New Orleans at the Super Bowl with the waiter that asked us 17 times if we wanted to order appetizers. It's a true story. And we won Coach of the Year, and it was really great on Kevin O'Connell, and we rode Femi's coattails to a victory. We love Kevin O'Connell. I bet the Vikings to make the playoffs this year because of Kevin O'Connell. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. But, man, I respect Kevin O'Connell. I think he's one of the best coaches in the league. I do not like the way Kevin O'Connell is handling the quarterback situation in Minnesota, where both J.J. McCarthy, remember him, and Carson Wentz will be taking reps with the first team at practice this week ahead of Sunday's game at home against the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, both are slated to talk to the media this week, and I don't know when Kevin O'Connell's going to make his decision as to who's going to start. I don't know when that's going to get revealed. It could happen during this segment. It could happen during the show. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen Friday. It could happen Saturday. Hell, it could happen on Sunday morning. I have no idea how this is going to play out in terms of when will Kevin O'Connell make his decision on who the starting quarterback is going to be. But here's what I will say. And this is a macro Minnesota Vikings take, not just for the rest of this season, but for the seasons to come as well. J.J. McCarthy returned to practice for the Vikings on Monday. He's practicing, which means that presumably, ostensibly, he's healthy. Like, he took all this time off. When this happened and the injury was announced that he was going to miss all this time, we were like, okay, like they want to get him some rest and sit him through the bye, and then he's going to be good to go. So my guess is that J.J. McCarthy's healthy. I don't know that for sure, but I think it's a pretty educated guess that J.J. McCarthy's healthy enough to play in an NFL game this weekend, even one against the reigning defending Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles. And if that's true, and J.J. McCarthy's healthy enough to play, and it's also true that Carson Wentz is dealing with an injury to his non-throwing shoulder, which Kevin O'Connell talked about at his press conference today. And by the way, even if it's not true, and Carson Wentz is 100% healthy, I don't even think that matters. I'm just saying for context. If J.J. McCarthy's healthy, he needs to play on Sunday. Absolutely has to play on Sunday. If McCarthy plays and he embarrasses himself, and we'll talk about my expectations for McCarthy in a second. If McCarthy plays and he embarrasses himself, you can always go to Carson Wentz. You'll have more data on J.J. McCarthy, and you can say, hey, this is a season where our expectation is to make the playoffs and make a deep run. We got to play the guy that gives our team the best chance to win. And the guys in the locker room will know it if it's not J.J. McCarthy and it's Carson Wentz. They'll know it. If J.J. McCarthy's healthy enough to play, and they start Carson Wentz on Sunday, like, that's it for J.J. McCarthy. Now, maybe your counter to that is, you the listener, you the viewer, well, if Wentz stinks, you can go to J.J. McCarthy. If they play Wentz this weekend, this is Kevin O'Connell basically saying J.J. McCarthy's not the guy. Right? Someone construct an argument that disproves what I just said. That if McCarthy's healthy and he doesn't play, that's Kevin O'Connell basically admitting he's not the guy. And that's it for McCarthy in Minnesota. Like, sure, Wentz can get hurt and McCarthy can go in, or Wentz can be bad and McCarthy can play, but it's a statement by the Vikings that they don't believe in J.J. McCarthy. The McCarthy stuff is incredibly interesting to me. And kind of his arc as an NFL player since winning the national championship at Michigan and being selected 10th overall by the Vikings in the 2024 loaded first-round quarterback class. So gets hurt, obviously, early in preseason in his rookie year, and Sam Darnold leads the team to a 14-3 record. And the Vikings decide in that offseason last year to not pursue Sam Darnold, despite winning 14 games, despite earning a playoff berth, spending the money elsewhere, mostly on the defensive line, and rolling with J.J. McCarthy. He starts the year, looks terrible in his first start, nationally televised audience, Monday Night Football, on the road in Chicago against the Bears. He's brutal through 3 quarters with an injured offensive line and no Jordan Addison. Might I add? And then in the fourth quarter, 3 touchdowns. They win the game. The post-game locker room is jubilant for J.J. McCarthy. Kevin O'Connell gives this incredible speech stumping for McCarthy, and the team goes nuts. And he's NFC Offensive Player of the Week. All it took was one dud on Sunday Night Football the next week against Atlanta, and everyone's out on J.J. McCarthy. Everyone's done with J.J. McCarthy. Do you want to be done with Josh Allen? And I'm not saying J.J. McCarthy is even going to be 1/20th as good as Josh Allen. But look what the Falcons defense, what it did to J.J. McCarthy in week 2, they just did on Monday night to Josh Allen. Maybe that defense is just awesome. And maybe the offensive line wasn't healthy. And maybe, not maybe, definitely didn't have Jordan Addison in the game. And this isn't for me. This isn't a case why J.J. McCarthy is going to be an all-pro or going to win the Super Bowl. But I mean, can we be fair about this? The competition for McCarthy is Carson Wentz. This is driving me crazy. Carson Wentz, who didn't have, basically on the street, and the Vikings correctly, and we talked about this in August, you can't go into the year with Sam Howell as the backup quarterback because he was so bad in preseason and in training camp. So I loved it when they signed Carson Wentz and traded Sam Howell. I thought that was a great move. As a backup, Carson Wentz hasn't been a competent NFL starting quarterback in a long-ass time. A long-ass time. Maybe you want to say, well, Kevin O'Connell's the quarterback whisperer. Look what he did with Nick Mullins, Josh Dobbs, Sam Darnold. Why can't he do that with Carson Wentz? Okay. Why can't he do it with J.J. McCarthy, the guy you drafted 10th overall? Let me ask everybody a question. Who has a higher hypothetical ceiling? J.J. McCarthy or Carson Wentz? Does the question sound ridiculous to you when I say it out loud? There are people out there who are like, the Vikings need to start Carson Wentz. Are you people insane? You start Carson Wentz and you are basically saying, we're not going to make the playoffs and we're taking a new quarterback next year. We need to get a new quarterback. No way. McCarthy, we'll see. Maybe the floor's low. We don't know the answer yet, but you got to find out. And we'll see what the injury report has to hold for Minnesota. How's this offensive line going to look this week? We know Addison's going to be back along with Justin Jefferson. I've got some optimism here around J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings, but it's got to be J.J. McCarthy starting for the Minnesota Vikings this week. Is he really going to start Carson Wentz on Sunday? I love hearing and seeing people that are like, it's a revenge game for Carson Wentz. Revenge for what? Because he tore his ACL playing for the team in 2017 and Nick Foles went and won the Super Bowl? He got his job back the next year. As soon as he was ready to play, Carson Wentz was the starter. Foles got 2 games the next season starting until Wentz was ready, and here's Carson Wentz. Revenge game? Come on. The Eagles should want revenge on Carson Wentz. The Colts should want revenge on Carson Wentz. Remember that game against Jacksonville at the end of the year a couple years ago? Stop it. Revenge game for Carson Wentz. enough. Enough with this. Like, the idea that Carson Wentz gives you a better chance to win right now. Okay, great. Then you need to come out and say that we blew it with the 10th overall pick in the draft. And how do you even know that at this point? After 2 games. One of which, by the way, was a win when he balled out in the fourth quarter. A national TV on the road at a division rival. And it's over already for J.J. McCarthy? Like, I think this whole thing is insane. It's ridiculous. Minnesota's playoff price right now at BetMGM. We'll get to the Eagles in a second. Minnesota, yes to make the playoffs, plus 260. Not great. No, minus 325. I'm going to break this down for everybody. If Carson Wentz is named the Minnesota Vikings starting quarterback, the price for no playoffs should be minus a 1 with Googleplex zeros. Like pi is 3.14 followed by infinity numbers. This should be 1 followed by infinity numbers minus. 0% chance. 0. The worst team in the division. Look what the Bears just did. The Packers and the Lions. Carson Wentz in the 2025. Carson Wentz. Stop it. He's a fine backup. I praised the move when they made it. He's a really good backup quarterback. He went 2-1 in the 3 starts, not exactly against world beaters. Wow, you beat Jake Browning and the Cincinnati Bengals when your defense scored 1,000 points. Wow, you had to come from behind to beat Dylan Gabriel and the Cleveland Browns. Wow, incredible. Come on, what are we talking about here? It needs to be J.J. McCarthy at starting quarterback for the Vikings, and that at least gives you some kind of ceiling. Because with Carson Wentz, you have no ceiling. With McCarthy, you can make a case that the Vikings could reach the ceiling outcomes that we were talking about in July and in August and in early September. With Carson Wentz, this is like Michael Jordan. What did he say? The ceiling's the roof. With Carson Wentz, the ceiling is the Earth's core. Grab the shovel and keep on digging. And then dig some more. Speaking of digging, their opponent on Sunday has been digging for 2 weeks. The Philadelphia Eagles. Hashtag down bad. 2 straight losses following a 4-0 start, including, I still can't believe it happened, a 17-point loss last Thursday night against my New York Football Giants. So the question now, and it matters for this week and it matters moving forward for Philadelphia, can they pull themselves out of this? The haters, who may be right. Normally I'll say that, like the haters, and then I'll blast the haters, that the haters are dumb. Maybe they're right about this one. The haters will point to 2023 and say there is a history of this happening. And I didn't think the Eagles would lose either game that they lost. So I'm 0 for my last 2 here. So I guess I need to acknowledge the possibility that the haters are correct. The betting market at the moment for Sunday, leaning towards the side of pessimism in the Eagles snapping out of this. Now, the Eagles are favored in this game on the road at the Vikings with the quarterback issues for Minnesota that we have detailed. But the market is moving towards Minnesota. This was a juice 2.5 for Philly, then 2.5 minus 110. Now at BetMGM, it's 2. I've seen some 1.5s on the board also. So a lot of betting interest in the underdog, the home dog, the Minnesota Vikings. And I don't think there's an injury report out yet for the Eagles today. And the guys on the crew, if you see something, put it in the chat for me. But I was looking. We'll wait to see if Quinyon Mitchell's able to go. Jalen Carter's able to go. If Landon Dickerson's able to go. And I know it's become chic and cool. Like I got the Wall Street Journal's got nothing. Just let me talk about this for a second. I got a Wall Street Journal notification on my phone. I was like, oh, like maybe this is something about like the Middle East. Or is the government coming to work? No. It was about kids doing like a 6-7 meme. I think we're so screwed as a species. So it's chic, it's cool, it's like 6-7. Everyone killing the Philadelphia Eagles. I think that this game makes for a fascinating handicap. Jalen Hurts versus the Blitz used to be a very one-sided affair. I'm talking James Franklin versus top 10 teams. Aaron Glenn versus the clock. Tua Tagovailoa versus logic and reason. He had no chance. Todd Bowles embarrassed him in that playoff game, in the wild card game after the 2023 season. We saw a change last year, and we've seen it thus far this year with Jalen Hurts against the Blitz. This season, completing 72% of his passes against the Blitz, a passer rating of 121. He's been great against the Blitz. Now, think about what Vikings defensive coordinator Brian Flores likes to do. One of the Blitz happiest defensive coordinators in like the history of the league. We have seen defenses have success against the Eagles, just keep playing a zone and like making Jalen Hurts Jalen Hurts beat us here. Like, you figure it out in the moment, Jalen Hurts, and beat us. Kevin Patullo, you figure it out pre-snap and on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Saturday, and beat us. And the Eagles haven't been able to do that the last few weeks. I'm very, very curious what Brian Flores' defensive game plan is going to be. Because I'll tell you what, that secondary for Minnesota is not very good. It's not. It isn't. And I think this is actually a matchup for Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and the passing offense to exploit. You send the blitz, you're going to get burnt. I don't think the secondary is very good. I haven't made the bet yet. I think I'm going to lay the Eagles. And it doesn't matter to me who the quarterback is in the game. The Minnesota part of it, as far as McCarthy v. Wentz, that's a long-term conversation this season, playoffs, adjusted win total next year. It needs to be J.J. McCarthy for the long-term health of the Minnesota Vikings. It doesn't really matter to me who it is, though, as far as Sunday is concerned. I am going to and I'll be stubborn and stick with the Philadelphia Eagles.